breakfast reduces the risk of obesity. And American Heart Association's annual conference study shows that obesity and resistance syndrome rates were 35 to 50% lower among people who ate breakfast every day compared to those who skipped. A representative also said that there might be a normal basis for some of the effects because the hormone insulin controls blood sugar, and blood sugar level is related to how hungry or energetic a person feels. So again, breakfast helps stabilize your blood sugar, which helps reduce the risk of obesity. Breakfast also speeds up your metabolism. Dartmouth, Hitchcock, Norris, Cotton Cancer Center says eating breakfast can increase your resting metabolism by 10%. So when you wake up and you don't eat breakfast, your metabolism isn't kick-started, which then you're more tired and everything that day. But you have to remember that you have to eat a healthy breakfast and not choose a donut or bacon that's sitting in a whole bunch of grease or something like that. So this guy is asking the other guy, wow, what energy drink are you on today? Well, actually, breakfast gives you wings. Breakfast is also an energizer because, one, you're breaking the fast. Does anybody know that that's what breakfast stands for? You're sleeping all day, all night, which you're fasting throughout the night, basically. And once you eat breakfast, you're breaking that fast. So, like a car, when you put the key in the ignition, it starts up and is ready to go, right? That's what breakfast does for you. It also, as I said again, balances your blood sugar. When you do not eat breakfast, your blood sugar drops, making you more tired and you lose more energy. And you're more likely to have a productive day if you have more energy. So breakfast helps you get through your day.
Yeah, that was a little bit. It's like we weren't sure. Is it over? No? Okay. Good stuff. Comments for Letitia?
I like her presentation. It was very informative, and also I like her charts. They were like very easy to read.
Okay. Yeah. Can we go back to those charts? Was there one before this?
No, it's only these two.
Oh, it was these two? Okay, so skipping breakfast, eat more. Okay, and go forward. Yeah, this one. So this threw me off a little bit. So it's if you.
So it's generally breakfast is the most healthy meal of the day. Regardless if you eat breakfast or if you skip breakfast, all the other meals are less healthy.
If you less healthy, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand.
The foods chosen.
So breakfast is 100% healthy, and then as you go on, so lunch will be 7.4% less healthy than your breakfast, and then.
Okay, but your food choices?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and where's this data coming from?
I got it from a chart on another website.
Okay. Yeah, it's I mean, it just like I said, it just threw me off a little bit. It's kind of an abstract concept, and yeah, I think if you were going to present this chart, just warn me that's an abstract concept, I would say, okay, so we're gonna talk about how you make less healthy choices on average. So assuming the baseline that your breakfast is 100% healthy, it may or may not be, is that it? So these researchers found that people make less healthy choices as they go throughout the day. So, but why does eating breakfast help you then?
It's whether or not you eat breakfast. So regardless if you eat breakfast, it's less healthy. So that's why you should choose to eat breakfast.
Okay, so breakfast is the point where people on average make healthier choices. Okay, so this research shows that you make healthy choices when you eat breakfast, so eat breakfast. Okay, alright, fair enough. Good. What else did I have? Good confident stance. Good use of notes. I feel like you were using the notes effectively and that didn't sacrifice your eye contact with us. So good connection with the audience. Good eye contact as well. Good stable stance. Yeah. Any other comments for Letitia? David?
I like the engagement when the asking us questions. She asks us twice questions.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great technique. Get the audience excited and engaged. And also, it's a good anxiety technique. If you're nervous, ask the audience a question. Anything else? Great. Okay, so let's take 10 minutes. And during that 10 minutes, if you haven't presented yet, please put your presentation on the desktop. And we'll come back at 7:47 and finish these up. Or take a nap. Yes. Yes. Don't try ordering anything on the menu though. Just say I want that. Oh, long day?
I only had 2 hours of sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, press the button. Best Christmas gift ever.
Why are you so particular about the chart?
You
To
know
me,
what
it's
charging?
so everything I understand.
Everything I say, he's confused about. Every presentation is like,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't mention anything about the chart, but to me it was clear, I don't know.
It's, so it's having the sun. It'll recharge itself. I want to put it in.
Did you ever hear the term they pick on their favorites?
yeah, right.
Oh, no.
Now, let me ask you a question.
It's true, she always gets picked on and she always gets picked on.
Why you didn't put a female picture there, only
I
men?
got crazy data. I got crazy data online, so just leave.
I mean, I did it on something, I feel like I know what I'm saying, but then I feel like I'm too nervous to talk in front of people,
Please,
so
just
I'm gonna
keep
feel like I don't know
talking,
what I'm
just
saying.
keep talking, no one is, remember he said the 2 points in time? You just keep talking in between.
I got too much data. I don't know if I'm.
No, I felt like mine was too simple.
No, I like
No,
yours.
that was fine.
I wish I would've thought like that. I overcomplicate stuff too much.
Yeah,
You know,
remember,
so
the
it's
more
about the
data
same.
you put, you can make more mistakes
Yeah.
or.
The more it's gonna.
I just Googled ideas to present, and then it said
That's a
breakfast.
good
and I was
idea.
like,
That
"What?"
was good.
I know, I should've done it. I've been with my Pepsi. grape juice and everything else is.
Yeah, made me customer.
I know, I remember researching when I was pregnant, and I was like,
So this is the first thing I ate.
it's like
Yeah.
that pure
I don't have my
stuff in there.
They say you can,
I don't think sometimes you realize how quick 5 years go by. I drank it for 6, but it was happening for no, it was 4, 6, the same time. Oh my God, instead of smoking.
So you could,
Instead of nicotine, you would have that like
oh my gosh.
That's what I drink. You know, but I used to watch it before I went. That's what I do.
I had to take a cab, I would have never done it. A cab? Yeah.
I don't pick you up. I didn't even,
Why do you say anything to me? You can't have 100%
all the things are no. It's like no everything. No crazy, that's the first thing I think. Why did I start like saying no? I'm not gonna do something different. I'm going to back around and pass out. I'm going to feel like I'm dying.
Me too, I only have 2 hours sleep until I have to this one.
It was crazy. Having that recall was terrible.
It was, that set me back on everything.
I feel like I always there's my own fast or I knew what I was gonna do. I just didn't do it.
You're good.
I feel like the last was nice. That's how it's not fair. I just don't know where people are going.
I do too, but the thing is that he wants to fix it. I go into presentation mode and have tons of data. And that's not me. It's good, I'm like, I don't want to post that. The traffic just drives it on. Everything is on. Everything is on the document. So why do you want to try editing? Sorry. It's because you guys gonna see me eliminate it. No, I mean like before. I know time. I know time. And I have my laptop, but the machine I did it on is not my laptop, so I haven't had it sent to me. And Yeah,
certain times, yeah, had a numbers just
Oh,
adding
you know,
over.
I just thought that it was like,
Well, we did get that. So you guys should go first, so I'll give you more confidence. Because mine is the same.
She's the rainbow.
Oh, all right, so I'll bring you some candy next time.
No, I thought he was gonna tell me something crazy.
you want to say what I did this morning?
I think we did that. You felt professional? He was breathing. No, I'm talking
Because I tend to like
I don't wanna come to
speak up really fast
Me too.
if I don't calm myself down.
Because how'd you do that?
For this one?
Yeah,
Between slides,
it's really difficult to
like Muslim giver.
presentation.
Something starting to It's painful.
How many
You did good. I think
Time pages, but it takes 10
you
minutes.
did the top of it.
Right, I was just like, I
I
should
should
have
have cooled. I'm like, I went in. I go in too deep.
I'm just like, maybe I should have done that. Why people should use ATMs?
You were pretty good.
How did that? You could have been talking about the days.
Yeah.
It's not time, so it's not
You know, I
time.
don't wanna give
I'm a
presentation.
tolerant.
After your
So,
presentation, I don't wanna give presentation.
Oh,
She
no.
just got promoted
Don't say that.
full time.
Hey, do you practice a lot, or this is something that you
I-
have
I-
done like so many times that?
Mobile banking.
I'm always going with them,
Online.
and they always
Yeah,
ask
I'm
me
very
to do
into
them
that.
The obvious.
all the time,
Well,
and
but see, it's not even
to me,
like
I've done, you know,
older, not younger.
even stuff I don't know what I'm doing.
Like
They
I
tell
work
me,
at
you know, read
Good
this,
Mount
present.
Vernon, and most of
And I
them
have
are
to, you know,
older rich people. And
Yesterday,
they
that
all
happened to me,
they don't wanna
they
go.
sent me a slide,
Because they're old school.
you have to present
Is
this
that
to
my
the
mom
vice
still
president.
balances check?
So I had to read the
Yeah.
slide and go and present that day. And I didn't even know what, you know, I had to research.
I told them, you know, you can see this
And then go present it.
All right, who wants to start us off?
You did pretty
I don't know how to do this. Which one do you press?
The one on the right is forward, the one on the left is back.
Okay, so, hi guys. I did my presentation on why you should use a payroll consultant for your company. An overview of today, I will talk about what is payroll, what are the components of payroll, and why you should hire a payroll consultant to do your payroll. So what is payroll? It should be a term that we're all familiar with. Payroll is a part of doing business. It's a very key part of doing your business. You can do it on a daily, weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly basis, and it consists of both the employer paying the employees. The components of payroll is not as cut and dry as that. It has a lot of different components within the employer and the employee. So it has like sick pay, what you have to pay for benefits, do you need any taxes, like what kind of taxes you have to pay for them. So for the employee side, sick pay, what are you entitled to? Do you have to, like based on the number of hours you work, do you have a day that you're able to work? Even if you're a part-time worker, you're still entitled to sick pay. Reimbursements for like education, moving, and travel and entertainment expenses. Depending on what your company's policies are, these are different things that you will be reimbursed for. And then local and state taxes for where you live, and where you work. So say you work in New York City, but you live in New Jersey, you pay New York State tax, but you don't have to pay New York City tax. So there's many different tax laws that come into play when it happens for payroll. Severance, gratuity, commission, and bonus, those are also different components of payroll. And based on like commission, you gotta pay different taxes on commission and bonus payments for your payroll. And gratuity. You need to know these tax limits and these tax rates based on each employee. They're different based on age and where you are. So for the employers have to pay, after they collect the federal and the state taxes from the employee, they have to then send it to the federal, state. You need to file your quarterly tax reports. You need to register for the states that the employer works in. So if you have remote employees, but you have a company in New York and you have a remote employee that works in Colorado, you need to register for the state, both with the state and the secretary of the state. Garnishments, so if an employee has like child support that they owe and we get a court mandated paper that says that we need to garnish an employee's payroll, you need to know how to do that. Every year there's new laws that come into effect, so you need to keep updated with these laws. And payroll record keeping. For up to 10 years, for every employee, you need to know everything about that employee. So you need to have their I-9 on file, you have to have their documentation on file, and anything that they do, whether the bankroll or anything. So you should say goodbye to this headache and this hassle and just have someone do it for you. So by hiring a payroll consultant, you will save time, you will save money, and it will be more efficient. So how you would save time? You will no longer have to train somebody on doing payroll. This person that will be the consultant will have industry experience, so they will know every law that comes into effect. They will know like what the employer needs to know. You won't have to deal with all of that. They will file for you. They will go through with speaking to the employee and how you would save costs. So it was shown in a study that 1 in every 3 employer pays a penalty for incorrect payroll entries. I know with our company, we had it happen a few times. So you don't have to miss deadlines anymore. So like when you have to file workers' compensation on a quarterly basis, you don't have to worry about which state requires it in January, which state requires it in October. It's all different deadlines. You don't have to pay this consultant benefits, bonuses, and annual raises, so you'll save money there. And you don't have to pay for supplies any longer. You don't have to pay for checks. You don't have to pay for envelopes and etc. So another way that you will save, I will show, is the cost of payroll consultant versus a payroll clerk. So I currently do payroll, as you can see. So I put me there, and I showed some industry leaders that are currently in payroll, so ADP, Allied Global, and Paychex, versus a payroll clerk. So I put like hourly rates on what people currently charge to do payroll consultants. So I put on like a 35-hour week or a 40-hour week because every company is different, and how much you would have to pay for their employees' benefits and the total costs altogether. So as you can see, most of the total cost is below the payroll clerk, except for me, sorry guys, I'm a little expensive. But overall, the hour cost would be less for the payroll clerk, but when you have to pay for the employee benefits, it comes out to pretty much equal to their salary because of, like, it's 15% for federal and state taxes, it's another, like, couple of percentage for their benefits for their medical and dental, and et cetera. There's a lot of costs in the employee benefits. So your cost savings, when I took the industry average, it came out to about 58,000, versus a payroll clerk comes out to about 90. So on average, you would save a lot of money by going with a payroll consultant. You would be more efficient because you set the rules and the expectations for this consultant. It's customizable to your needs. It will help you budget forecast for this, for whatever you need, like if you need to know how much going forward you're going to need for that year. They would be able to tell you that. They'll be able to run reports, cash forecasting, knowing, like, you know, if it's bi-weekly or monthly, you'll be able to tell how much money you will need on hand at that time. And it's quick answers and turnaround for any questions that you may need, or the employee may need. So if I have questions about how many dependents I have, I would be able to answer that for the employee, and you don't have to take time out of your schedule to do that. So, any questions? Sorry, guys.
Good job, Amanda. Comments for Amanda?
It was good, straight to the point.
Yeah? I don't know if she got straight to the point. She used an interesting tactic by explaining all those complicated things the employers and the employees need to keep track of. And then she said, and if you don't want to worry about that. Because I was wondering if that's where you were going with that. But that was an interesting technique. I think it's fine. Other comments? Good eye contact. Good example of really presenting something that you're obviously an authority on. And I think even if you're not an authority on the thing you present tonight, you can still think about, you know, how you can break your material into little bits that you feel comfortable presenting to your audience and making eye contact with your audience while you're explaining them. Doesn't need to be in quite that depth or quite the depth that David went into. But I think those, you know, this example and David's presentation example was great case where, you know, that connection and that authority and that confidence as the speaker was really looking at us and talking to us was made for an effective presentation. Yeah, I just had a few details. The table where you show that you're the most expensive. You could have just skipped that and gone straight to the next slide, where look at how much just money you're saving by getting a consultant rather than a payroll clerk. Like, you already have a payroll clerk sitting
Figure out
there.
how to put it in the table to, I don't know. At first I only had that table, and then, like, last minute I put that other one in and I didn't delete that one, so.
Right,
It was
right,
just my own.
right. Sometimes you get attached to work
Yeah.
you've done. You're like, oh, well, this looks like a good table, I'll just keep it. But, great. Any other comments? All right, fantastic. Let's move on. I'm open. Go for it, Patty. Save Maxie.
Yes.
Coke versus Pepsi.
Hi guys, today I'm gonna present you two American beverage giants.
Graphic designer or something?
No, I'm not. I was an ex-Coke worker. I used to work for a Coke company for like 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna present today two American beverage giants, Coke and Pepsi. And the rivalry between Coke and Pepsi is legendary. Although the war, Coke and Pepsi heated up with the 1975 Pepsi challenge in which promoted Coca-Cola's horrific New Coke's collapse.
Horrific what?
Horrific New Coke collapse.
Oh.
They produced a New Coke and their sales is down. They changed the taste, so their sales went down. And the brands have been fighting almost more than a century, Coke and Pepsi. The Coke has the lead, as you see that the beverage industry hit the almost $1 trillion. The 35% belong to carbonated beverage. Coke and Pepsi fight with this number. And also Coke has the lead, the industry, as you see, 48.6%, Pepsi only 20.5% in the world. What about the US? The Coca-Cola company has the lead like at 39% in US, the PepsiCo 30%, the Dr. Snapple Group 22%, the private labels 6%. What about the Coke and Pepsi sales? As you see the numbers, Coca-Cola has still lead the market. It's almost more than $60 billion, and Pepsi like more than $45 billion. But Coke, some of Coke's brands, which are Sprite, Fanta, and Minute Maid, have reached $1 billion or more retail sales. Pepsi's beverage might not be strong as Coke, but they have some multiple business line holding more cash, and it's in snack business also. That's why, as you see, the Pepsi's net income with the Coke. And also they're spending too much money for advertisement. Coke spent like last year $20 billion. The Pepsi spent only $10 billion. That means 7% of total sales of Coke. And decline. Also, there's a social media follower on Facebook. Coca-Cola hit the 1 billion people. Pepsi almost 400 million. This is the employee numbers also. And decline of the soda industry. The drop in soda consumption represents the single largest change the American diet in the last decade. Sales are stagnating as a growing number of Americans say they are actively trying to avoid soft drinks. So people try to, as you see that, the sales are going down because people try to be healthier. In a conclusion, don't drink too much soda.
Good, Fatih. Some good stuff going on in there. Comments about Fatih's presentation? How do we like those graphs? Anyone have some comments on the graphs, on how he presented them? These, how do we like these?
I was just confused because Coca-Cola was blue and Pepsi was red.
Yeah, my thought on this is that I could understand what you were saying, but it was distracting as I was trying to absorb the information on the graph. So I honestly feel like these graphs may have focused your message in a way that we could understand a little bit more, but these two graphs, especially these two, there's too much going on for you to really give it justice.
Too much information?
I think so. If you have to spend several minutes really on these. And like sales, like what is it? It doesn't really prove anything. You're just breaking the sales down into, I guess, years. And it doesn't show anything different than if you lump them all together, right? Right? So we just do something simple. Yeah. And I would say some of these I wanted to see a takeaway, like the advertising spending. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean for us? And how does that play into whatever conclusion you're going for? And the conclusion, that brings me to an interesting point. Your conclusion was what? What was Fonzie's conclusion?
Don't drink, don't.
Did that throw anyone else off? It was like kinda out of left field, like, oh, okay. That's the conclusion you've been going for the whole time? It just, you didn't give us any hint that you were going for that was your whole presentation, and boom, all of a sudden, don't drink soft drinks. If that was your conclusion, we may have expected to see a bunch of information about how unhealthy soft drinks are, maybe some of the stuff in Letitia's presentation. Yeah. And the new taste, when did you say the new Coke came out?
Yeah, 1975. They
Really?
changed the taste.
Wasn't it
It's like a new Coke.
1985? I feel like it was 85, because I remember that.
75?
85. I think it was 85. And I don't know if you remember who was one of the spokespeople for Coke, the new taste.
Yeah.
I think he was like the spokesperson. Does anyone remember who it was or know who it was? Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was like the Coke, the new taste guy. And yeah, I was not happy with Coke.
Did they
new
change it
taste.
back?
Yes,
No.
they changed it. They're like, we're sorry.
It took like 2 weeks, that's it.
We're all going back. Forget about what Bill Cosby said. Good. So my main comment for you, Fatih, is that I feel like I was able to understand your presentation and understand your words and understand the points you were trying to get across very effectively, more so than in the previous two presentations I've seen. And I feel like maybe the slides aided you in focusing what you were saying. My other comment is just the comments I made, that there's a lot of information that is a little distracting on the slides. All right, next person. Oh, okay, go for it, Max.
Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about the project management office today. Okay, so did you know that between 2010 and 2020, estimated 15 million new project management jobs will be added globally, reaching an economic impact of over 18 trillion across 7 project-intensive industries. I'm not going to name all 7, but one huge one is health, information system, computers, engineering, food industry, and there are others that move on. So, project management. You know, a lot of people, depends on where you're working, kind of overlook project managers for specific reasons, and I'll kind of delve into them a little bit. But project manager is a huge undertaking, a huge responsibility, and they go into planning the process, organization, bringing people within the organization, key departments together to actually bring a project into fruition. As I mentioned, a lot of organizations overlook project management, team, and the value that they actually add to companies. I'm actually recommending that we actually move forward for any company to develop. We don't have one, a lot of companies don't have one, they rely on individual departments like IT. Well, IT can manage the project for IT. Finance can handle the project for their financial sector, right? That's not the case. This is really more in depth. And we'll be exploring the PMO structure, organizational processes, and the actual added value. So, what's the big deal about project management? And why should we actually pay more attention to it? It's projects, not just doing projects, it's doing the right projects where you see a good turnaround in your investment and you get to your end result, and it's doing the projects right. What does that mean? Well,
The project portfolio management is what allows you to do the right projects. In the portfolio management, what it is we have a portfolio full of different projects that you or any company may want to achieve. Whether it's a new software development tool, whether it's building a home, each project has a priority level. And that's how we choose which ones are the right to do. And that's within portfolio management. So, for the management is the art and science of applying some knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet or exceed the needs and expectations of an organization's investment strategy. All right? And as I mentioned, it basically, to sum it all up very quickly, what should we take on and what should we drop? Ideally, when you say what should we drop, it doesn't necessarily drop, the priority level drops. Too far. Oops, this is backwards, sorry, I'll go back to that. And I'll talk about doing projects right. So, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, techniques to meet your project requirements. Project management is accomplished by a few stages. Initiating a project, planning it, executing it, controlling, and after all that's done, you close it. But part of the closing, just to briefly mention, is not just closing it and the project's done, hooray. There are lessons learned. What we could have done better, what can we do going forward next time, what should we not have done? And obviously, the more you know about a project, the better you are able to manage it, and I believe you get those takeaways from the closing. This is not in order. Okay, project management exists for multiple reasons. Is to allow organizations to actually, they have their ideas, but project manager brings the ideas into real life. They manage relationships, and there's a collaboration. The project manager doesn't only manage the set project. The project manager manages the people. The project manager, we have to, as a project manager, we have to make sure that finance, IT, engineering all get together to help put the pieces together to bring us to where the ultimate vision is, all right? Which is usually developed by the shareholders, executives, and such. So, who is the project manager? As you can see, the project manager is multitasking. He is doing a lot of work there. He has to have a range of skills, a large range of skills. So that's why it's not good to just have someone in IT manage the IT project, because there's more to it than just technology. There's finances behind it. There is customer skills that's required and such. As mentioned before, project manager stages are the identification of project, planning of the portfolio, which we mentioned, which project do we want to keep on, which project do we want to kick off to a lower priority. The initiation of the project, so the initiation of the project is, okay, I have my finance department, I have my IT, I have my engineer, staff member, and now we're going to figure out what portions for each individual is necessary for them to perform. Then comes the project planning. And the project planning is pretty much a segue from the initiation. What tasks are you responsible for as an engineer? What tasks are you responsible for as a financier? And your task may be a little more priority than the engineer, because finances will drive the project. Execution, you're moving along with the project, and keeping control. Project manager has to keep control of the project. So we have an item that's a 3-day turnaround. You as an engineer promised me that you'll have your portion done in 3 days. So I can then take that and hand it off to my financier, and then move on. If your 3-day timeline goes over, you're running everybody behind, and you'll be costing the company money. As a project manager, I'm at your door all the time. Where are we? What's your progress? Do you need more time? Do you need more time? I have to then figure out that timeline a bit more longer, okay? And set expectations to upper management. Then project closing. Project closing, we're done, we're on time, hopefully. If not, we've already set those expectations to upper management and our clients. And then we will all sit and have a meeting. What can we have done differently? What should we have done? What will we do next time? Will we decide to set a longer expectation for our clients? Will we tell the shareholders we need more funds next time? Will we tell them we're not going to make no money from this project? So we should probably lower the priority or just take it off the list. All right, so project managers. They link imagination and design. So we have our marketers. Our marketing department is awesome. They can go on social network and market the heck out of a sneaker, right? But there are other things that we need done that marketers can't do. So a marketing department cannot be a project manager. You pull all the pieces together. Okay, so this is where the origination of a project would be for a different type of shoelace, right? So put that concept into play. The PM will then play around with that. PM, project manager, put some ideas out there with a team member. That's where the initiation, the development of the project comes to fruition. That's with my team here, and then we come back and we start to design. Benefits of project management. So, if you're a company, you don't have a project management team, why do you want to spend that money developing a new department, project management organization team? Are you going to see that money back? You're going to get that money back. How long is it going to take? I don't have the time frame here, but this is based on a 12-month scale. And for entry level, mid-level, and senior level, this is your return on investment in percentage. And so, entry level, you're going to higher turnaround return on investment for obvious reasons. The entry level salary, you're going to get a bigger return on that, and so on and so forth. Before I go forward, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the project management world and the beloved Gantt chart. It looks scary, but it's not, I assure you. Let me tell you why. This is pretty much a project broken down. It's a timeline. Okay? And here goes your legend. So the colors, don't be too afraid by it. First, if you look at it from a perspective where I'm standing, you can see that green is on track, yellow is missed timelines, and red is obviously we're not on track, we're not doing anything there, and purple is complete. So you can just take a look here and say, okay, well, for this project, we're pretty much on track. For the engineer department, they're not fitting the bill. They're not doing exactly what they're supposed to do. So we know who we need to go see and who we need to help. I just want to give you an idea of what the Gantt chart. I don't go too far into it because it does look scary, but it really isn't. All right. But every project management organization uses it. They rely on it. They live it. They breathe it. Okay. So just more information on benefits of project management. 80% of high-performing projects are led by certified PMOs. 89% of high-performing organizations. This is interesting. 89% of high-performing organizations value project management. 81% actively engages. 57% aligns projects with the business strategy. I mean, you think it would be 157% because why you're doing projects that the business is not aligned with the business, right? This I found more interesting. 46% of organizations admit to not fully understanding the value of project management, even though that understanding boosts the success rate of strategic initiative by 60%. So you know that you're going to see a higher value, but you know, not really trying to understand.
system there. That's it.
Good job. Comments for Maxine? Can I have the clicker, Maxine?
That's it?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right. No comments? Yes, Orlando?
When she presented the project management, the stages, when she broke it down, that right there, I think she did a good job.
Yeah,
That really came off good.
yeah. I think she should have started here. Because I think you talked about okay. I feel like you talked about this. Where was this? Yeah, here. This is basically, instead of this, I think you could have just had this, right? And this brings more clarity and allows us to focus on you. And maybe you could have even you don't want us to follow. Read the slide, not me, okay? Maybe you could have even brought these in with animation effects.
Yeah.
And that would have been the way. Let me tell you why project management is valuable. Because let me tell you what we do. First, we start with identification. This is for the idea, and then we do the portfolio planning. This is a complex step that you may not have thought of, and it includes this, this, and this. This was good. This was also great. This simple way you got us to imagine how a project manager helps. This was scary. Like I saw this, I'm like, oh my God. I think it might have scared you too. You're like, oh, what is this? What did I get myself into? Let me go back to this one. So this stuff is great. This just brings the presenter, gives you as a presenter a reason to talk to us, and it makes it easier on us. So I'd say more of this and less of this.
Okay. And that's
Yeah, and then you came to, I gotta think of a term for this, the hard ending, or, can you guys help me think of a term for that, when you end without telling us that you're going to end, without warning of the ending? Crash ending. And we know from the attention retention graph that is a waste of our attention span. If you just give us a warning that you're about to end, you're in prime attention focus time. So anyway. In conclusion. All right, so I think we just have one more. Go Kay. No, he's not going to go today. He left his in Brooklyn. Good job.
When is it gonna get easy?
What's that?
When is it gonna get easy?
Oh, I still get nervous.
all day.
Oh, coffee board.
Great animations.
Yeah.
I just wanna know where you get the pictures
No,
from.
I just take from the internet.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that.
yeah, the Google search.
Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about the coffee behavior of people according to my survey on Facebook. So Starbucks Corporation, an American global company based in Seattle, Washington. Starbucks is the largest company in the world with more than 20,000 stores in 62 countries. President and CEO is Howard Schultz. As you can see, this Starbucks mission statement to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighbor at a time. So, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is an American global donuts company based in the Canton, Massachusetts. Today there are more than 11,000 stores worldwide and 3,000 stores in 36 countries. Dunkin' Donuts is William Rosenberg. Dunkin' Donuts founder is William Rosenberg. According to the Dunkin' Donuts mission statement, make and serve the freshest, most delicious coffee and donuts quick and courteous in modern and merchandise stores. So, even though Starbucks 53% takes more than double share of Dunkin' Donuts, 20% does the number of times people purchase in a period are very close. and almost 40% of their customers shop for coffee at least 3 weeks a week. So Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts customer thinks brand is important factor for choosing to coffee shop. However, the influence of the two brands totally different to their customer. It's easy to find that Starbucks is more powerful than Dunkin' Donuts. So brand identity, according to the result, this study display that Starbucks customer, the brand of Starbucks is it's very different from competing brands. The word of mouth impact, this strong image can even affect their social file such as brand. Therefore, brand is for you in choosing to coffee shop. So product quality and price. Price, Starbucks high quality service and products with high price, as well as Dunkin' Donuts relate low quality service, quality with low price than Starbucks. However, more than 50% of Dunkin' customer think the price is high or too high, even its price is lower than Starbucks. In conclusion, as you can see the price here, location. In location, Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are both convenience for purchasing. 90% in combination of good and service selection, according to the graph. So conclusion, Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are different marketing strategy. Even though Dunkin' Donuts has friendly price strategy, Dunkin' is still hard to gain customer satisfaction. Starbucks convenience their customer that their products come with high quality and service. So you can see the promotion here. Thank you for your attention.
Good. Comments? For Goke?
I kind of wish you explained, you had a couple of really good graphs. I kind of wish you explained that a little bit more. Like I think the 2 pie charts that you compared Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, you kind of completely skipped over. I'm just like, oh, is he going to talk about that? But you didn't. So,
Yeah, we need more explanation here. This one as well. I was trying to figure out what was going on here. But to Venetia's point, I feel like there's a good comparison here that could be revealing. And I feel like, okay, you're tempted to just give us information. But you need to realize this is the first time we're absorbing this stuff. And it's okay if you pause for a minute and let us take in this information and actually explain some of the nuanced concepts that you're trying to portray to us. Does that make sense? Did you feel nervous? Is that why you wanted to just kind of keep going fast? Yeah? Okay, well, we were interested. I was interested, Venetia was interested, I think the rest of us were interested. Just tell us a little bit more. And as I was looking, because there's just a lot here. I was looking at this point, Dunkin' Donuts customers are more price sensitive than Starbucks is. What do we think about that?
yeah.
Demographic, that's demographic based, it has to be. I mean, that's just mine. I would like to know like what, where, why.
Yeah, so Starbucks can raise prices as much as they want and the customers will keep buying.
I think is their marketing approach. Like I feel like Starbucks sells like a lifestyle. You know, something goes with Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you walk around with Dunkin' Donuts, walk around with Starbucks, gives you, I don't know, more power, I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
Starbucks, I get a
Or
Starbucks.
panache.
So I guess they're not price sensitive.
Yeah, and Goke, I think that you could have taken just this much time. You could have asked the audience a question. I think that'd be a great tactic for you to keep in mind. Ask the audience a question. That'll force you to slow down and engage your audience a little bit more.
You talked a lot about the global aspect, and I'm kind of like interested in it. That me personally, I don't know. But you did touch on it here and there, and it was kind of interesting how I made my own connections to your PowerPoint because I've traveled and I've seen Starbucks. I'm just like, ooh, Starbucks in a different country. I wonder how it tastes. Like